Hey guys, it's Tyler for BleepinJeep. This week I want to show you a super inexpensive way to get onboard air. Now this is a little compressor that you hook up to your battery in your car. Now just full disclosure guys, this is not a sponsored product. I was looking for a way to have onboard air when Sarah and I went on the JP Dirt and Drive last year. And I didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of time, so I looked these up online. They had really good reviews, and they were priced anywhere from, the cheapest I found was on eBay for just under 60 bucks. I ended up getting this at a Pep Boys for like 64 or 65 bucks, I think it was. I've seen them as much as like $80, but if you look around you can find them for around 60 bucks. Super inexpensive. It's called a Masterflow Tsunami, I think is what it's called. Anyways, I've been using it now since last April. I've used it on the Dirt and Drive trip. I used it when I went to Moab and also out on the Hole in the Rock with Matt and Tim. And I've used it here around the farm as well. And I'm actually pretty impressed. So let me go over some of the pros and cons of this thing. There's lots of pros, very few cons. And for the cost, I mean 60 bucks, this is a super cheap solution for getting yourself some onboard air. So setting up and using this compressor is really easy. It comes in this nice little nylon bag. You just pull it out of the bag. I really like that they have these little elastic webbing loops to keep track of the battery, the alligator clips for the battery. They also have this nice little pocket on the front that keeps the air hose from getting lost or tangled up. So pull out the compressor, and then you'll have to screw on this little air filter. There's a little rubber plug. Hang on to that plug, set it aside, and screw the air filter in, and then you'll be ready to pump. Now I always remove this air cleaner when I put it back in the bag because it's cheap plastic. It would really be easy to break. I don't want it to get smacked when it's in the bag and broken off. So just take an extra second, unscrew it, put the rubber plug back in the hole when you stow it in the bag, and I think it will last a long time. Just put it anywhere that's convenient. If you got a Wrangler like this, you can set it up on the flat part of the fender, hook it up to the battery, start the engine, don't just run it off the battery because it does draw a few amps. Now the instructions tell you if you've got air in your tire, you need to turn the compressor on before you screw it onto the valve stem. The air pressure in the tire will create enough back pressure on the compressor that when you try to kick it on, it'll pull a really high amp load and will probably burn out the fuse or burn up the compressor. So kick the compressor on so the air is flowing and then twist it onto the valve stem. And it works really effectively that way. Now it does have a pressure gauge on it, but it is not really accurate, and it says right on there that it's not accurate, but it is consistent. I found mine to be just about 5 pounds higher than what the actual pressure was in the tire. Now the bag that it comes with it's well designed, but not built well. They use the absolute cheapest nylon canvas and polypropylene webbing. And you can see here the handle's already starting to tear off of mine. But, you know, they're looking for a price point here, and they put the money into the compressor rather than into this bag. So baby the bag a little bit, but the compressor, the things that counts, really works good. Okay, so I've got a 33-inch tire here, completely flat. Let's go ahead and see how long it takes this pump to inflate this. We'll go up to 35 pounds and just see how long it takes. Alright guys, this is my low pressure tire gauge. It's not even registering 1 psi, so we're essentially flat. Let's see how long it takes this thing to air this tire up. Alright guys, that says 35, but just from the experience of using this, we're probably closer to 30, so we'll give that a try. 30. That's 32. Alright, I'll have to watch the replay, but I think that was about 4 minutes to go from not even registering on my tire gauge, so less than 1 psi, up to 32. We found that I usually run these at about 12 to 15 pounds when I'm wheeling, and then to run them back up to about 30 pounds, which is where I like to run these on the highway, we found we were probably 2.5 minutes per tire. Now, in the instructions they tell you you can run this thing 40 minutes continuous, but then you've got to let it cool off for 20 minutes. So what is that, guys, like a 50% duty cycle? I can't remember how to calculate that. Anyways, even if you had to spend 10 minutes per tire, you could inflate all 4 tires before you have to let this thing cool. So I've never even come close to the 20 or to the 40 minutes on it. It is pretty warm. I can touch it. It's interesting, this this quick valve here actually seems to get hotter than the rest of the piston there, but that's why they put these rubbers on there, so leave them on there. Now there was some people online, I guess some of the older versions of this fitting right here had a real weird thread, and you couldn't put normal air chuck accessories on this. You had to actually drill and tap this with a standard thread. My understanding is that they fixed that so that if you want to put a different fitting on here, it now has a normal thread pattern of all these, but I haven't verified that. This is the size of air fitting that I use on all of my hoses and everything, so if I ever do ruin this hose, I can throw on a regular one. Alright guys, so that's how this thing works. Now there's lots of pros and very few cons as far as I can see to this thing. It's really inexpensive. You get a lot for what you pay. It's turned out to be pretty durable. It's nice and compact. It's easy to use. And I like the fact that I can throw this in my rock crawler one weekend and then grab the bag, put it in my family SUV when we're going somewhere, and I know I've got a way to pump up a tire if I need to. I didn't have to wire it or plumb it into my vehicle for that. It's convenient in my opinion. Is this thing going to run air tools? No, but that's not what it's designed for, and that's not what I bought it for. I wanted to be able to air my tires back up to highway pressure without having to find a gas station. So I gotta say I'm super impressed. Even if you break off this chintzy little plastic air cleaner, the pump is still gonna work. You just run a danger of sucking some particles of dust or sand into the cylinder, which would really shorten the life of the cylinder. But it is gonna function even if you break this filter. So all in all, I really like it. I like the design of the bag. I do wish they'd used better materials, but they're looking for a price point there, so I'm not surprised that the bag's not made really well. The design of it's great. They just use crappy materials, but baby the bag a little bit. The compressor itself, the thing that matters, seems to be pretty durable. And man, for 60 bucks, I like it. I've used a bunch of these little compressors that you just plug into your cigarette lighter, and they've all just been turds. None of them have worked well. None of them have been able to handle the duty cycle to pump up off-road tires. They've burned up, shut down, quit working, or just wouldn't pump more than about 20 pounds of pressure at all. So I think this is a good solution, especially if you want to be able to take your onboard air from vehicles to vehicle. Let's say you got a rock crawler, you want it in on the weekend, but then the next week you're throwing the family in the SUV and going on a trip. You want to have a way to pump up a tire. This is a really good solution. So, alright guys, if you found this video helpful, please consider going to our Patreon account and helping to support us to be able to create content like this for about the cost of a soda pop a month. You can help support our channel. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go visit BleepinJeep.com, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.